Hey everyone, this is Steve here with another video on how to solve some logic puzzles. This is a game called Hexcells, which can be bought on Steam for a couple of bucks. It's a lot of fun, and if you like Minesweeper, you're definitely going to like this game. Essentially how it works is, like in Minesweeper, the numbers inside the cells represent how many blue cells are adjacent to it. So instead of mines, you're just looking for the blue cells. But basically the same concept. This 0 indicates that these cells adjacent to it are free. And you can continue. This 0 here means this one is not a blue cell. This 0 means this is not a blue cell. And you can see this 1 shows that this one adjacent cell is going to be blue. So that's pretty simple. But what's nice and different about this game, which makes it, I think, more fun than Minesweeper, is there's some added clues or logic that can be used. So this 2 here, you can see, has dashes. This represents that the 2 blue cells are not adjacent to one another. So you can't have these 2 being blue, can't have these 2 being blue. So in fact, you know it has to look like that with them being separate. These brackets around this 5 is the exact opposite, basically saying all the 5 blue cells adjacent to it have to be consecutive. So it could be like these 5 or these 5 and so forth. So that's an added piece of logic that you can use to help you solve the puzzle. You'll also notice that there's some numbers along the outside. Now they can be along the top, the bottom, or at angles, but essentially what it represents is that in that given direction, you can see this little blue line or white line says that this column has only 1 blue cell, or this column has 3 blue cells. And you can see there's the added clues here saying that in this column there's 2 blue cells, but they cannot be next to one another. And so it's nice to have those extra clues that help you solve the puzzle. Now it doesn't make it easier. In fact, I would say it makes it harder than traditional Minesweeper, which is what I liked about it. Now this is one of 3 games in the Hexcells series. There's 2 other ones as well, but they could use completely different rules. But there's Hexcells, Hexcells Plus, and Hexcells Infinite. I would highly recommend you start with the original one first, as it is the easiest out of the bunch. But I would recommend buying all 3 or buying the whole pack, because again, if you like Minesweeper, I know you're going to like this puzzle a lot. It's very similar and lots of fun. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is try to solve this one for you guys so you can kind of see how it unravels. And this is one of the harder ones in the first book, so it does give you kind of a sense of the difficulty. It starts off real easy and then gradually gets harder as it adds more clues and more logical steps and reasoning. Now what I would say is that these are all handmade. They are not computer generated puzzles, and so there is a unique solution to every one of them, and they can all be solved without guessing, which is what I really enjoy. I really don't like puzzles where you come down to the end and maybe you have a 50-50 chance of solving it because of just bad luck. So here we can see the brackets. This is going to come in handy because we know if there's 2 in a row, it's either going to be these 2 or these 2, but either way this middle one is always in, so we can solve that there. And now with this 2 here, we know the 2 blue cells can't be in a row, so it can't be this one, otherwise you'd have 2 blue cells in a row in that column, so that is free. And we now need a second blue cell in that column, so that one is it, solving this 1, so those 2 adjacent cells are in. Now if you've not noticed yet, there are some blanks. So like this 1, you know, there are not going to always be 6 adjacent cells around the hexagon, and that's okay. I think that's necessary to not. I mean, you can see it's kind of a neat little pattern. I think visually it's very striking, the yellows and the blues. I think he picked very good colors. It's very minimalistic and visually appealing. There's some ambient music in the background and sound effects, which is a nice touch as well to it. So at this point, how would I go about solving this? I'm thinking, hit a little bit of a snag here. I'm sure we can find something. I think, well, this is interesting. These clump of clues over here. So this 4 and 1 collide. So you know you can't have 4 in a row. And you know these 2 cannot be in. So essentially you're going to have either this one in and these 3, or these 2 and these 2. But you can't have like these 3 and this one. You can't have 4 in a row. So no matter what, this one's always going to be in. And so it's either going to be these 2 and those 2, or these 3 and that one. But no matter what, this one's always in. And that solves this one column. So now we know all of these are free. This 0 means that one's 0. This one's in. That 2 means both of those are blue. These 2 mean both of those are blue. And now this 3 can be solved because we have 1, 2 blues. We need 1 more to make it 3 blues in that column. So that 3 is now solved. Now this 3, we have 1. We know we need 2 more, but the 2 can't be in a row because it would break these 1s. You can't have these 2 or those 2. It would break the 1, so they have to be like that. That solves the 1s and the 4. This 3 needs 1 more. It's going to be one of these. Can't be this one because this 1 is already solved. So there we go. We've solved the 2. And you can gray out these clues when you solve them on the outside. Now I don't think that's needed. But it may help you if you do it. But I'm the type of guy, when I solve Minesweepers, a lot of times I don't feel like I need to flag it. You could kind of just visually see that you've solved that clue. Now where? Now this is one of the harder ones. This is probably one of the later levels in the game. It starts off really easy, but quickly picks up to be somewhat of a challenge. I would say overall Hexcells, again, is the easiest of the 3. I haven't yet finished the other ones, but I'll be making a video on those as well, so you can see, and I'll give a quick review. Now this 2 column only has 2 cells, so both of those must be blue, which happen to solve this 2, which forces this 1 now to have this one be blue. Now this 1 and 4. Is that where we go next? I think so, because I don't know where else to look. Take a sip of coffee here, and maybe that'll help me solve this puzzle. So we need 3 more, and it can't be these 3, because otherwise that'd be 4 in a row. So it can either be these 3, it can be, well, it can't be those 3. Because that would break this 4 clue. Yeah, this is interesting. So you have 2 4s next to 2 2s. So if it's these 3, you would solve all these 2, and all of these would be all of these would not be blue, and that would only leave 2 cells left to be blue in that column. So these cannot all be blue. That would break this 4 clue. So if these are not all blue, that forces this one to be blue, which solves this 3. Which then solves this 1 because there's only 1 cell left in that column, which must be blue. Now this is nice because we have 2 cells out of the 3 for this clue, and we know that all 3 cannot be in a row, so this one cannot be blue. And now this 4 clue, we have 2 in that column, we need 2 more, so both of those are in. Now this 1 clue, there's only 1 cell in that column that's available, so that must be blue. Now this 4, if we think about it, there can only be 1 here, because it would break this 2, and 1 here. So at most, there's 2, right? Because you can't have 3. All 3 cannot be it. So if there can at most be 2, we need 2 more, which happen to be those. And you can see here, I didn't mention it, but just like in regular Minesweeper, it tells you how many blue cells are remaining. So in this case, we have 16 cells left. that are blue, and that's going to come in handy. A lot of times you do need that clue to help solve it, because you can see sometimes you'll be down to 1 or 2 cells left, and you're like, well, there's no clues to help me. Well, that number up there in the top right is a clue. So we need 2 more for this column, and it can't be these 2 because they can't be in a row. So because it can't be these 2, 1 must be here, solving this 2 and forcing this last one to be it. Now this 4, we have 1, 2, we need 2 more, that's it. This 2 is now solved in this column, so that's a number. Now that didn't help us at all in the middle, so we're gonna have to figure out where to look next. Yeah, I definitely picked one of the harder ones. This is, I think, one of the very late levels in the first game. But I like this one. I thought aesthetically it was very pleasing, so I wanted to show it to you guys. Because, yeah, I'm not going to show you guys one of the first few levels. Those are pretty boring because they're just mainly there to be instructions on how to play. I felt that the game gradually got more difficult in very ascending order that was very linear. There was no like huge jumps of difficulty where like, holy cow, like went from easy to super difficult. So I thought he did a very good job making these puzzles. All right, so let's think about this. This one here, we've already solved. There's the 1 blue cell, so this is not blue. And that is going to be helpful because now what? Oh, this 3. We have 2 blue cells. We need 1 more. So it's going to be one of these, but we don't know which one. Oh, this 2 and 1 interact. So this 1, you can't have both of these be blue cells to solve the 2 because you'd break the 1. So this must be blue, which solves this 1. So this 1 now means this is not blue, forcing this 1 to be over here, solving that 1. This 1 only has 1 left, solving this 2. This 4 is solved. 1, 2, 3, 4 blue cells. Now this 2 has 1. We need 1 more, so the other one's going to be here, which solves this 1, meaning this one is not blue. This 1 means only one of these is going to be blue. So in order to solve this 2, this one must be blue. Solving the 1, solving the 2, solving that 1. Now this 1 is forced to be up here solving those 2. This 2 means both of those are in. Now these brackets mean all of these have to connect, which happen to be 5 in a row, solving the 1s. And now this 3 is solved. We have 1, 2, 3 blue cells in that column. Same thing here. This 3 is solved. 1, 2, 3 blue cells in that column. This 2 is solved. We already have 2 blue cells next to it. This 2 needs 1 more. This 2 needs 1 more. And there you have it. So lots of fun. They do allow you to make mistakes. I actually don't know if there's like a penalty or how it works. I think you get points for every blue cell you find without making mistakes. I think the mistakes takes away these, which is nice. I actually also switched in the options menu the left button and right button, because originally to mark a blue cell it was the left click, which threw me off because in Minesweeper when you find a mine it's the right click. So it was nice to have the option to switch the mouse buttons. But overall I really enjoy it. I gotta say you should buy it. I mean, if you like Minesweeper, this is probably the best Minesweeper variant out there, if not second best. I really liked Globe Sweeper as well. This is very different from Globe Sweeper in that Globe Sweeper is auto-generated. They're not manually made puzzles, whereas this feels a lot like the Delete game that I reviewed a couple weeks back, where it's very intentional. The logical path was set by a human, and I like that. I think I actually like that a lot better than the computer generated puzzles. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Thanks everyone. Have a good night.